View Casino and Hotel, Southern California's favorite.
Plenty of sunshine. We've got your forecast next.
Your credit card companies love you. They love it when your cards stay maxed out. They love it when you only make minimum payments. They love it when you struggle. Why? Because they own you. And minimum payments mean maximum profits. Here's great news. National Debt Relief is now offering you free information on how to escape your credit card debt nightmare. If you owe more than $10,000 in credit card debt and are only barely making minimum payments, know this. You may not have to pay it all back. In fact, you may have the right to settle that debt for only a fraction of what you owe. National Debt Relief has helped thousands of people get rid of over $500 million of debt. And they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Get the information you need for free right now before this offer goes away. Call National Debt Relief now and escape your credit card debt troubles. 800-314-4789. 800-314-4789. 800-314-4789.
Southland weather from KFI is going to turn a little bit on the cloudy side later tonight. Lows in the 50s. Cloudy for the start of the morning tomorrow, and then sunny by afternoon. Highs tomorrow at the coast all the way to the 60s, mid-60s to right around 70 for the LA and Orange County metro areas tomorrow, and then highs in the mid-60s to low 70s for the valleys and the IE. Clouds again tomorrow night, then clearing to sunny highs in the 60s to low 70s for Monday, and then for Tuesday and Wednesday, a little bit warmer. Sunny, about 5 degrees hotter, with highs topping out in the mid-70s to lower 80s for the inland areas. Right now, 69 in Brea, 69 in Burbank, 71 in Lake Forest, 61 in Marina Del Rey. KFI News leads local news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks. I'm Michael Chapin.
Let me teach you how to eat. Let me teach you how to eat. How to marinate the meat. Let me teach you how to eat. It's a culinary treat. Let me teach you how to eat. Let me teach you how to eat.
KFI AM 640 is the Fork Report. We celebrate food and beverages every single Saturday for 3 hours. I'm your host, Neil Saavedra. How do you do? Oh, man, Chef Tila, great guy. That was a lot of fun, and I could have gone a whole lot longer. We barely scratched the surface, so looking forward to him coming back on sometime soon. You know, there's a few foods out there that are fighting foods. And one, you know, it's like people are very particular about them, or they're regional, all these things. And one of those things is barbecue. And I don't know if it's because barbecuing tends to be like a guy thing, not always, but tends to be a guy thing, and that every guy thinks he can do it right. But let's face it, most guys can't. But there's something about barbecue that everybody gets, like, really heated. And then you start getting into the regions, it gets even more heated. So some time ago, not that long, it's early March, maybe, there was an article in the OC Weekly written by my buddy Gustavo Arellano, where I had heard about Bart's barbecue. And then I got on Facebook, Dustin Bartz reached out to me and said, hey, and so I said, yeah, well, then come on, bring it. So I want to introduce you to Dustin Bartz from Bart's Barbecue. Welcome to the Fork Report.
Well, thank you.
So how do you, let's start with the style. You're doing Central Texas style barbecue, right?
As close as I can, you know.
Being here,
yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, so, well, what can't you get here in Los Angeles that you could only have in Texas, besides the Stars at Night being big and bright?
Well, I mean, like, we basically use, in Texas they use white oak, but they use Texas white oak, which, according to everyone in California, all the wood places, white oak is white oak. They said there's no difference between Texas white oak and California white oak. So, like, pretty much the only thing I can't reproduce is getting the wood unless I got a U-Haul and drove it down to Texas and picked up their wood and drove it back here.
Oh, well, apparently you don't want the best barbecue then? You're not willing to get the U-Haul?
You know what? We did a calculation with my dad, and we figured it out.
You did the math
Yeah,
on that, really?
we did, because we figured that the cost to bring back a U-Haul, there's so little wood you could put in there because it weighs so much that you'd have to get like that 26-footer, and the cost was just ridiculous. So my dad's like, there's no way to make that much difference to use our oak versus the Texas oak. And so that's pretty much the main difference I have is made the wood difference, but I still use white oak.
Okay, so here's what you need to do. It's going to be cheaper. Drive out there, bring some of your supplies, bring the white oak, make a bunch of it there in Texas. Don't tell them you're from Los Angeles. And I guarantee no one will say one damn thing. And then you can say, yeah, this is Texas. This is Texas oak.
There you go. I mean,
if they can't tell they're in Texas, nobody's going to tell here. Because, nobody in L.A. is from L.A. except Jet Tila and me, apparently.
But what I do got to say, though, is as most of the people that have tried my food that are my friends from Texas, they can't tell the difference. And they live in Austin. And so they're like, it's just as good, if not better, than what we have here. So I'm like, okay, we'll just stick with the California white oak.
So when it comes to Texas barbecue, it isn't like East Texas and Central Texas, the two types that most people, especially here in Los Angeles, think of as Texas barbecue.
Yeah, ours is basically like just the Central Texas style with like the salt and pepper, as the rub. We do brisket, beef ribs. We do pulled pork because not everyone eats meat or beef, So
that sounded like a Texan there for a second. Yeah, we offer pork because not everybody eats meat.
It's the truth.
Only beef is meat. Everything else is just pig. It's the other white meat, of course. But pulled pork's also fun to do, and it's a point of pride as well. Like when you have a good pulled pork.
Oh, ours is good. It's just that if I had the choice between brisket or pulled pork, I mean, I would take brisket every day over pulled pork.
Yeah, well, when it's done right.
Yeah, when it's done right.
Because there's nothing worse than bad brisket. It's really, it's like, or when it's up there when somebody cuts a nice piece of meat that's cooked well and they cut it wrong.
It's like a well-done steak.
Yeah, it's like now you've, no offense to our president and his well-done steak. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, he likes ketchup on it, too.
Yeah, but he's throwing 28-day aged beef and having it cooked to 165 degrees in the center.
Yeah, I saw that.
Politics aside, man. Politics aside. What are you thinking?
I mean, you might as well get a shoe and chew on that instead.
Yeah. And it's much cheaper. Even if it's a really nice shoe, it's going to be cheaper than that chunk of aged beef. Very cool. I love the fact your story's interesting to me for a couple reasons. One of which, you're not a brick and mortar, and it's not like you're a food truck. You cater.
Yeah, I mean, well, we had like a commercial kitchen that we work out of in like Redondo. I mean, so like we prep all the sides and prep everything there.
Don't you have to pronounce it Redondo?
I know, I've lived out my life, so I call it.
No one calls it Redondo?
Maybe the newer people that live there.
Okay, maybe so.
The people that are paying $1 million for a house probably have to add a little flair to it.
Redondo? I'm from Redondo, man. So you're working out of Redondo, and you do it, and then you cater events. You're at a lot of breweries and stuff.
Yeah, that's how it started. Kind of as like almost like not really a joke, but like more like.
Yeah, 'cause it's not very funny.
I mean, all my friends were saying like, "Oh, your food's so good, you should sell it." So I got a trailer, threw a little smoker on it, got permission for some breweries, to try to sell the food out there, see how it worked out, and then from there I just started selling out. Then had to buy a bigger smoker, started selling out. Now I might need a bigger smoker than the bigger one I already got, because like it just keeps on getting. I can produce as much food as possible. Like I do everything myself. But, I mean, I can produce like right now like 200-300 pounds in a day. But like I mean, sometimes I can get rid of that in one day. So it's like it just keeps on getting bigger and bigger.
That is first world problems. Yeah, I had to get a bigger smoker, then a bigger smoker, then a bigger smoker. All right, we come back. Dustin's going to bring some of his food in here, and I'm going to be the judge. How about that?
Yeah. I'm waiting to hear.
You sweating yet? Huh?
Not yet.
Okay. When we come back, we'll talk more with Dustin Bartz from Bart's Barbecue. You can find out more at bartzbarbecue.com. That's BartzBarbecue.com. It is the Fork Report. I'm Neil Saavedra, KFI AM 640. Let's get the latest news now with Amy King in the KFI newsroom. I cheated a little bit. I tasted a little bit. And I'm thinking of ending the show right now on a high note. Holy. Man, oh man. Okay, KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk. It is the Fork Report. Everything food every single Saturday from 2 to 5 right here on KFI. I'm your well-fed host, Neil Saavedra. How do you do? Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget Mr. Mo Kelly coming up at 6, so stick around for that, won't you? And follow us on our social media on Instagram and Twitter at Fork Reporter. On Instagram and Twitter at Fork Reporter. And then you can also check out what we're up to on Facebook as well. Fork Report on Facebook. I'm going to take pictures of this stuff, too, because it's a thing of beauty. Okay, so we're chatting with Dustin Bartz from Bart's Barbecue. You can find out more at bartzbarbecue.com. That's BartzBarbecue.com. And you do catering. That's all you're doing. You started out just doing it for friends. Friends say, man, you should sell this stuff. And it's starting to happen. It's rippling. And Tom Likas, a name that listeners will know, was on KFI many years ago. He is not only a wine aficionado, but a barbecue aficionado. He's given it a thumbs up. I just started nibbling. I told you about OC Weekly. My buddy Gustavo Arellano talked about it. I know we were chatting, maybe Farley Elliott from Eater LA is going to taste it next week.
Yeah, on Wednesday, I believe.
Oh, and he's a stud. Farley's a great guy, smart guy, and has a great palate. So I just had a little bit of the pulled pork. Didn't put any sauce on it, nothing. Just dove into it first.
That's the way to do it.
Thing of beauty. Cooked perfectly. Just wonderful. It's exactly the way I love that type of barbecue. There's a lot of crappy barbecue in Southern California. It's sad. I mean, that's the truth, brother. Are you disagreeing with me?
No, that's why I buy a smoker and I started doing it myself.
It's sad.
I lived in Austin for 3 years, found out what barbecue was about, and then decided, this LA stuff doesn't cut it, so it took me a year to find a smoker that would work.
Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on a second. I just had a moment. That freaking brisket, I haven't even tasted it yet. I put my fork to it, and it obeyed. It just went, oh, you want us to fall apart due to our moisture? Done. Check that off your list, bub. Holy smoke, literally. Look at that. That is so tender and gorgeous. And again, I want to, no sauce, no nothing. The smell, you can smell the smoke. It's got a really lovely smoke ring. And I know this traveled a little bit, so you had to, but that color is gorgeous. Got a nice bark on there. I love you. I love you like a man loves another man.
There you go.
No, I mean it. I want you to look me in the eye. Because this is happening right now. You and me. Holy smokes. It's fantastic. Incredibly tender. Oh, I wish Bill Handel from our morning show was here. He loves brisket. He would flip out. And this is all trial and error for you, right? Just technique and trial.
Yeah, a lot of late night poker games in my house with my friends coming over there and trying it, and then
that sauce is lovely. It's a little thinner, so it's not this big gloopy sticky mess.
Yeah, we do it that way because we a lot of times make sandwiches and stuff. So like, if it's too thick, it won't like go in the squeeze balls very well. So
no, I like that consistency.
Kind of like thin it out a little bit.
I think it's perfect.
Yeah, because we like make our own ketchup, and then from there we make the barbecue sauce out of it.
Man, I could eat this all day. Like seriously, you want to hang out? Just like hang out here, even after the show, and just
whatever you want to do.
I feel like you're pushing me away. I just want to know you better. That's all. I feel like now I should give you a gift. You've given me a gift. All right, stick around. I want you to can you hang out for one more segment?
No
hang out, and because you've got a rib here that is a Flintstone style that I want to dig into as well. So stick around. More with Dustin Bartz from Bart's Barbecue when we return. It is the Fork Report on Neil Saavedra, KFI AM 640. Let's get the latest news now from Mr. Shea.
Are you gonna eat that? Are you gonna eat that? Are you gonna eat that? Are you gonna eat that?
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk. Hey, it is the Fork Report. Everything food every single Saturday from 2 to 5 right here on KFI. I am your well-fed host, Neil Saavedra. How do you do? Don't forget Mr. Mo Kelly coming up at 6, and I think he's going to pop in and let us know what's going on his show coming up shortly, so go nowhere. Hanging out and chatting with Dustin Bartz from Bart's Barbecue. You can find out more at bartzbarbecue.com. That's BARTZBARBECUE.com. Just fantastic. I mean, this stuff with each bite gets better, but that brisket is almost comedy. I mean, it's like I've got a stack like 3.5 inches high, and I could cut it with my pinky. I mean, I could go in there and just pull it apart. The separation of the marbling, and you can see where the fat has rendered down and separated, and it just, that deep dark bark on the outside, the moisture, oh, it's glistening, let me tell you. It's just fantastic. That's before I put any of the sauce on, before I dipped it, anything. Just stunning. Cornbread, on point. Nice density, great crumb, nice and moist. What else other than honey do you have in that butter?
It's orange and orange zest.
Oh, because I was going to say, that tastes citrusy to me, and I keep going, is that honey? Is that orange?
It's honey, orange, and then orange zest with just butter.
That it, like, I want to go to my doctor, have all the blood taken out, and have that put in instead of blood.
Yeah, that's my mom's favorite thing. That she loves that honey butter on the cornbread.
But that citrus, it just, you know, your tongue can, and your mind can play tricks on you sometimes. You know, sometimes you're eating, you're going, what is that? Or there was one time I was trying to figure out a flavor. There's something about it, and it, like in the last minute, I'm like, raisins, it's freaking raisins, and they're like, yeah, it's raisins. But sometimes it plays with you, and that citrus note married with the honey in that butter, and it's like a sweet cream butter, just is delicious and marries perfectly with the density of that cornbread. So that's on point. The brisket is ridiculously on point. I don't know that I've ever had brisket like this before. Pulled pork, stellar. Sauce, stellar. Beans are great. I love the combination of the beans in there. That's really, talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, there's like, I mean, we do like 4 different beans. It's like black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, and then...
Why don't you just tell me what beans aren't in there at this point?
Well, it's pretty much everything but garbanzo beans, I guess. That's the only thing they had at Costco that I don't put in them. So I pretty much just grab all the rest of the beans they had and just throw it in there with some sauce and molasses and brown sugar and little like salt and pepper, and that's, you know, that's smoked, and that's pretty much about it. And that's like everything's real basic I make, you know, but just as long as you use the basic ingredients, I think it comes out good.
Yeah, but you can't hide behind anything. Like when you keep things basic, it stands on its own or it doesn't. So either it's good or it's crap. and you're going to taste it.
I'm glad mine's good then, I guess.
Well, how do you think I feel? I'm like, thank God. I didn't want to have to say anything. Talk about this beef rib.
Yeah, I mean, the beef ribs, like, that's, like, actually one of my favorite things we cook, because it's actually the coolest looking thing, because you have this big old dinosaur-looking bone with a big old chunk of meat on it. But, I don't know, people that know about what beef ribs are, they buy them all the time. But a lot of people, just in their mind, especially in California, to think about pork ribs.
Yeah, so, everybody's baby back, you know.
So they don't quite get the concept of, like, you get this one big rib with a big old chunk of meat on it. But not quite yet. So, I mean, if you go to Texas, like, that's, like, probably, like, the number one thing that everyone orders is like, beef ribs. But,
it's gaining ground here. And more and more I've seen there, because I'm like you. When I see them, I'm like, get me one of those. That's delicious.
Yeah, those are like extra. I mean, that was like the biggest beef rib I've seen since I've been doing this business. Like, because they're really hard to come by in LA. Even find ones that are decent size aren't like, they're really, most of them are really small. But I mean, sometimes I get most of my meat at Costco. That's usually where we buy all the Costco Business Center. And like, for once they actually had some ribs. I was like, okay, these look good enough to bring to you on the radio.
It's delicious. The sauce has a... Oh. Hey, John, you remember when I said no water?
Oh, I brought an extra cup. That's what it was for.
I wasn't thinking that I was going to get into that sauce. You're a stud. Well, thank you very much. That it just jumped onto my uvula right as I was talking. Thank you. Sweet relief. That sauce has this peppery finish.
Yeah, it's a cayenne.
Oh, he's like, thanks for telling me now. He's like, oh, yeah. Probably shouldn't do it while you're on the air. I'm like,
well, I mean, it depends on, like, where we poured the batch inside my containers, because, some of it has a little bit more of a kick than others. I mean, but you probably hit that spot.
Some of it is more Kai than Yan?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. This is really excellent. You should be super proud of yourself. This is cool.
It's pretty amazing that people actually like the food you make. I mean, I don't really know what to say about it.
I could eat this all day long. I think this is stellar barbecue. And there is, again, I hate to beat people over the head in Southern California. There's not a lot of great barbecue in Southern California. It's just not. I don't know why. I don't know what the breakdown is. I don't, you would think that it would happen. We're outside all the time. It's a great outdoor food, but...
Well, they like to grill.
Well, we grill, yeah. We're high heat, short amount of time.
Yeah, man. I don't think most people in California have time to sit there for 24 hours while someone cooks.
But you'd think that a restaurant would. I mean,
I honestly don't think most restaurants have a way to run a business like that. I mean, unless you're really into it. I mean, because most restaurants, they just hire cooks. So, you'd have to have that person there 24 hours while things cooking, make sure it's done right. And then you have to have customers want to buy it right away when it's done. So, like, if you don't have the customers to buy it, I mean, the barbecue just sits there for, like, 3-4 hours at your restaurant. By the time that comes around, it's going to be, like, hard as a rock.
No, you've got to be a bigger guy. You got to wear a baseball cap, and you got to have a nickname. Do you have a nickname? Anybody call it like the name of it?
They call me Bartz. That's my nickname. I mean, pretty much everyone calls me by my last name, and that's
so your friends are super creative. It sounds like
pretty much. Yeah. Well, I mean, I had other names when I was in like college, but not as an adult, older person.
Now I'm curious. What was one of the names in college?
I used to be called Moneybags in college because I was the only one who had a job and actually had any money among all my fraternity brothers. So
you were Moneybags because you had a job, as
pretty much.
Jr. would say.
Well, I mean, I had a real job. I had my own business. So, like, I had like an eBay business. So, I was the only one making way more money than anyone else in my fraternity at the time. So, like, they called me Moneybags. But I've done my best to get rid of that name.
Well, now you just told like hundreds of thousands of people, so that should help.
That's fine.
Yeah, in the Southern California area. Good for you. That ought to wipe it out. Yeah, all your buddies today are, hey, Moneybags! Moneybags! Hey, idiot Moneybags! Yeah, give me some food. Excellent. So good for you. I hope those that are listening that love good barbecue will reach out to you. Bart's Barbecue, BartZBarbecue.com. Dustin Bartz. What a pleasure to meet you, man. Thanks for reaching out.
It's been a great day.
I love that more than anything, being able to connect with people here in Southern California that are doing it right and doing it on their own. So good for you. All right, and I'm stealing some of the stuff that's going home with me in a big way. Thanks, brother. All right, it is the Fourth Quarter. I'm Neil Saavedra. Let's get the latest news from Mr. Sharpay in the KFI newsroom.
Stars and fans have gathered for a public memorial.